So it's 8:30, so we'll call our meeting to order. We have Carl Fortuna present via Zoom. Matt Pugliese and Scott Deaton, two select people. We're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'd like to make just one comment in the beginning. I'd like to pass my condolences on to Scott, whose mom passed away recently. And he sent me the obituary last night, and it was very nicely done. So, Scott, sorry to hear about your mom, and thanks for being here.
That's very considerate. Thanks. She lived 86 great years, so we're pleased with that, and had a good time celebrating her memory over the weekend. So thank you.
Okay. So, are there any members of the public?
We do not have any members of the public present nor on online.
Okay. I'll Scott, do you have any comments?
No comments presently. Thank you.
Matt?
I don't have any comments this morning.
Okay, I have just one thing. And it has to do with ARPA. So I don't know what you guys know, but I don't know what you heard rather. We had our auditors come in not too long ago, and they were saying, how are you using your ARPA money? And they gave us some treasury guidance on the meaning of an obligation. Have either of you heard much about this yet? And
I don't think I've heard much about it. No.
Basically, an obligation is a lot more than what we have done, which is interesting because it puts us in a little bit of I think, in my opinion, a pickle. So we have at least $1 million worth of obligations that ARPA has approved, Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, Town Meeting has approved. And in addition to reviewing it with the auditor, I also had it reviewed by council, and the council I asked for an opinion from was Shipman and Goodwin, Matt Ritter, who is the Speaker of the House of Representatives in the state of Connecticut. He is currently just so you know, since Bruce Chudwick retired, when we use Shipman and Goodwin, we've been handed off to the Speaker of the House. If we have any questions for anybody up there, I go through Matt Ritter. And so I've done that a few times recently on some just unusual kind of issues. And I called Matt up and I said, hey, who should I ask an ARPA question to? And he goes, I'm your man. And I said, great. And he was very clear that an obligation is not a spending plan or a plan to spend. It is a contract, a subaward, having a vendor in place, and that's a lot different than a couple of the things we have going on. So I want to be pretty blunt about this. We have a housing task force that we've allocated $500,000 to. There is a plan to spend, and that's not good enough, according to what we're hearing now from our auditor and from an attorney. The Mariners Way Committee, we have a plan to spend once we form a development agency. I don't think that's good enough. We've allocated $150,000 to Park and Rec for their strategic plan. Again, probably not good enough. And there's one or two others. I just want to bring this to your attention. I'm I am out of the country at the next ARPA meeting. I've discussed some of this with the chairman of the Board of Finance and the chairman of the ARPA committee. There may be a different solution to this, which I haven't fully formulated yet, so I'm not going to say it here. But there is a concern about what we've obligated, but what we will not have under contract or awarded by December 31st, which seems to be a pretty clear-cut guideline. And, when you think about ARPA, really the purpose of it was to put money in the community and get it out the door, not to let it linger for something that possibly could go beyond 2026 in theory. Now, the plan for us is not to, would be to have our housing task force spend the money by 2026. But as it currently stands, I would say there's no action plan, no guarantee that it would be. And I think that's the disconnect. So, this is an ongoing discussion I'm having and trying to figure out a good solution to it. The bright side is if we can't use that 250,000 of ARPA dollars for Mariners Way, for instance, we have a very healthy and at least for fiscal 25, I'm quite confident it will continue to be healthy capital non-recurring account. And as costs are expended, we should be able to meet those costs, assuming they're good, they're agreeable expenses for the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen, and town meeting. So it's not as if these are the only dollars that can be allocated towards Mariners Way. There's a couple ways the ARPA dollars could be allocated by December 31st, 2024, if we are not able to do it with the Housing Task Force and the Mariners Way Group. And that could be towards infrastructure. And I've already told Bill Claffey, line up some projects that we might be able to actually have awarded by the end of the year. I know that's boring. That's not, kind of really stretching what we want to do with these dollars. It's not aspirational. It's infrastructure, it's roads, but we still will be able to do everything we want to do. I'm quite confident of that, both with the Housing Task Force and the Mariners Way Group. So I just want to bring this before the board because it's an issue that's been percolating for the last 2 weeks. And I want to put it on your radar, and that's about it. Matt or Scott?
Well, thanks for sharing that information. I think that's a good update for us, so we can hopefully participate if needed in any other decisions that would be helpful before the end of the year. Thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you for the update. I'll put my thinking hat on and, and work to come up with any ideas that I could share with you or Bruce.
Yeah, that would be great. Now, look, we haven't written it off. I'm just saying it's out there. This is an issue that is being discussed. So, it's funny. When I was talking to the Speaker of the House, I said, well, what about the state? And he goes, we have the same problem. He said, we have to get money out the door pretty quickly. And, we have a couple ideas on how we're going to do it. So I'm like, all right, good. So we're all some of us are in the same boat here. All right, approval of the minutes from August 27, 2024. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
You guys have both seen these. Any comments or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. I want to add something to the agenda first, before we move on. Well, under business, the first item I'd like to add to the agenda is the discussion and possible action on the Acton Public Library Generator Project. And this is simply to add to the agenda. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we add to our agenda, the Acton Public Library Generator Project.
I will second that motion.
Okay. All those in favor to add it signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Presumably that motion passed. I didn't hear you guys. So,
Yeah,
all right. So, you should have received this. This came late yesterday. Have you both had a chance to review this?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to say we are using ARPA dollars for this. Honestly, I can't remember. I'm not sure. But in any event, you see the chief emergency management generally runs our generator program throughout the town. It's under the emergency
Management.
emergency management budget. That's where we pay the yearly fees. That's Scott. So the chief drafted the bid, which obviously received good responses, very good. 5 bids is it's always good to see. 2 or 3 of them, actually 4 of them, were in the ballpark, very, very similar. And you see the chief's review, recommending that we choose the second lowest bid for a variety of reasons, as he outlines in the memo, which personally I'm satisfied with. Anyway, you guys have it in front of you. It's up for discussion before we make the motion. Any comments or questions?
Well, my comment is I certainly appreciate the thorough review, and as you indicated, it's, when you get that many bids, you feel confident that you've got people who have a representation of what it looks for. And with our experience with this company, I think that's a good way to move forward. I appreciate the work of the team for that.
Yeah, and just building on what Scott said, the justification for using the second lowest bid is that the lowest has some hidden additional expenses that the town would end up having to incur that would be outside of the scope of work. So I think that supports the chief's analysis. I'm comfortable moving forward.
Yeah, and also the size of the generator was one of the comments too. So I think that's very important. All right, I'll make the motion. Is there a second to accept the recommendation of the Director of Emergency Management to accept the bid by Standby Stationary Engine and Power Services for the Acton Library Generator? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Yeah, the next 2 items are obviously very related. Beaver Dam Trail. The long saga continues with Beaver Dam Trail. I mean, we are very close, which is the good thing, we have all the subordinations in place. We have all the easements in place after today, I hope. And Bill Claffey is actually going out to Beaver Dam Trail with a contractor today to start looking at some of the trenching that needs to be done. And the hope is that if we can get this trenching done and then pour the concrete and encase some of the wires, actually the electric distribution wires, in the concrete encasement, we could get this project out to bid before the end of the year, which it should be. I mean, it's 99% done, the drafting of the whole project. It is just remarkable. Forget about the easements and the subordinations to the bank and all that. Just what goes into the design, the coordination with the utilities, which by the way, I haven't done. It's Bill and Howard Frommer from Jacobson's office. But this has been a long process to just get the paperwork in place. So I am happy to report that after today, I'm hoping we should have almost 100% of the paperwork in place so that we can move forward. So item number 6A on the agenda is it's really more of a asking you guys, since I've already signed it and had it notarized, and I'll amend the motion to say discussion and possible action on the ratification of the electric distribution easement between the town of Old Saybrook and Eversource. So I'll make that motion. That
Okay. I'll
as
second it.
okay. And this basically is allowing Eversource to come onto our property because the town, there's some privately owned property up there that they had to give Eversource an easement. And now the town has to give Eversource an easement, a permanent easement to lay the wires so that they can get the electricity to the folks on Beaver Dam Trail. We have to coordinate with Frontier, Comcast, and a few others also. Just so you know, the power is going to be shut down up there for 1 or 2 days. Well, not for 1 or 2 days, for parts of 1 or 2 days while this work is being done. So there's going to be further coordination with the folks up there. Anyway, thank you for that. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then the authorizing resolution, you see it in your package. They also need that. So I'll move the authorizing resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll get that to Sarah. And I am going to start driving now. You see the adult education. Do you guys have any issues with declaring September 16th to September 20th Adult Education and Family Literacy Week?
No problem.
No, I just have a question. Who brought this forward, Carl?
Yeah, good question, Matt. I get these things in my email now and then. I don't know if it is a. Give me a.
I stumped you. Oh, I think we lost him.
Oh, okay,
That's one way to get out of. There we go.
okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry. I was so offended by the question. Let me just see. Let me see if I can find it, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was from internal to the town that brought this forward, or if this was from like a statewide organization, or.
It was from an organization out of, I'll tell you right here. I got it right here. Oh, it came from Middletown Adult Education.
Great.
I think Joanne was.
And then there is, okay, so it came from, my name is Ralph D'Amato, the director of Middletown Adult Education, Cooperative Adult Education Program in cooperation with the Boards of Education, the National Adult Education and Family Literacy Week raises public awareness, and he would appreciate our consideration to do this. So, in not that it matters, there's no conflict here, but in the interest of full disclosure, my brother Michael has been a Middletown adult education teacher for probably 25 years. That is not why this came to my attention, but it just is coincidental. So I know the good work they do,
Mhm.
through my brother. I mean, not all these folks, they enter the program, they don't all make it. Um, but the ones who do, it's truly a point of pride in the family. It's usually quite an accomplishment because they had an interruption, a lot of them, during their high school years, and they were unable to complete, uh, whether for a variety of reasons, which obviously I think we can all imagine. So, um, anyway, it's generally a good organization in any town, not only in Middletown. So I'll move the proclamation. Is there a second?
Second.
Just a comment, Carl, maybe we can have Larry add to the digital signage, something that says Middletown, or that
Yeah.
in
Uh,
alignment with this, and maybe create some website awareness so people could do some discovery.
it's available to them. Say that again, Matt. I switched over to my car. Say it again.
Just maybe Larry could add this to the digital signage next week with, a website perhaps that people could go visit if they're interested in.
Oh,
And look.
okay. Yep. I'll have them do that when I'll see if there's a link and maybe have them do it later on today.
Great, thank you.
So wait, did we vote on it or not? I can't.
We did not.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Was there anything else for the, trying to think of, anything else for the good of the board or any other comments that either of you want to make or?
No.
No, just a reminder, we have a town meeting next week.
Next Monday we do. We have that town meeting. And just so you both know, I will be, basically, I am out of the country from the 20th to the 30th. I'll be over in Ireland. So I will talk to you both before then, obviously, but I'll probably talk to you both before I leave. There is an ARPA committee meeting the 24th. That would also, I want to say, be a Board of Selectmen meeting. If there is urgent business, we will have the meeting. We'll figure it out somehow. Nothing will suffer as a result of it. Leanne and I will be over there with a few other people, so we'll be able to make it happen, however it needs to happen. All right. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you both. Thank you both for helping out.